What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 7, the finals of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons November 2024 tournament. These are the best of the best decks, so without further ado, let's check out those deck lists. First up is Alec returning the camera for who knows how many finals in a row with green-white Terra Oath. He's been on a tear with this deck lately. It's been working super well for him, which is why he hasn't really changed a card in probably 3 or 4 months. Anyways, if you want a more in-depth analysis of this deck, make sure to check out past finals videos. But basically, this is a mana denial deck that uses Oath of Druids to get out Terravore and get a ton of lands in the graveyard, all while keeping your opponent from doing what they want to do. Well, let's find out who he's playing. And I did give it up a little bit if you watched the round 5 video. Let's see if you guys remember. That's right, if you watched the round 5 video, Aluren versus Red-White Weenie, you may have caught the end bit where I mentioned that Marshall did in fact get a rematch against me. Yes, I was the Red-White Weenie pilot, and did in fact win on his way to the final. So here he is with blue, black, green Aluren. This is a combo deck using the enchantment Aluren to power out creatures costing 3 or less to eventually combo out through various means. Cavern Harpy and Wirewood Savage are probably the best way to do that, being able to draw basically your entire deck, and then also using Soul Warden to gain infinite life. Once you have infinite life, there is a lot you can do, including Living Wish for specific combo pieces. Yes, this is a Living Wish deck, including Cloud of Fairies to get infinite mana, Maggot Carrier to deal infinite damage, and a few other fun little tricks. The Living Wish package also lets him go find combo pieces like the Wirewood Savage, one of the Cavern Harpies, and even a Raven Familiar, which is a more economical way to cycle through your deck. The deck's only real interaction are 4 Cabal Therapies against counter spells and 3 Pernicious Deeds against aggro decks, which ended up being pretty good against me, I'm not gonna lie. But overall, this is a really cool combo deck to see in the finals, and I'm very excited to see how it performs against one of the big bads of our local format. Without further ado, let's get into those games. And here we go, the finals of the November tournament. Alec is on the left, Marshall is on the right, and at this point I think they do have a crowd because we just had a little bit of a camera bump, which is only possible when people are crowding around. Well, let's see how this is gonna go. Assuming Marshall can get his combo off and running, there are not a lot of ways for Alec to interact with it. I believe swords are the only main deck way. He can obviously slow the combo down with land destruction and spheres. And in fact, actually, now that I think about it, spheres, which he does have one in hand, does make the combo pretty useless, because I'm pretty sure Aluren gets taxed. I'm pretty sure that's how that works, because the sphere adds an additional cost to it. So yeah, that would definitely hinder Marshall's ability to deal with it. I don't think he has a main deck way. He does have an Utabi Orangutan in the Wish sideboard that would help for sure. And yes, we are getting a turn 1 sphere, or I should say a turn 2. Both players playing with a bit of speed while I'm waxing poetic over here. Okay, we are going to get a port on the forest, and I think we're going to see a Veteran Explorer here. Yes, okay, Veteran Explorer, which does cost 2 currently. It is a bit of a threat. Nice signed copy, by the way. Each player being able to get 2 basic lands and put it onto play untapped is pretty strong, especially when you're dealing with, yep, we're just going to block here, makes sense, especially when you're dealing with a sphere. Alright, both players taking a look at their hands before digging for those basic lands. I'm not sure why Marshall's putting them face down. They are supposed to be revealed face up. I guess once he finds them, he'll reveal them. He just doesn't want to give away how many colors are in his deck, which are primarily green and blue. There is a little bit of black, but mostly a green and blue deck. There we go. 1 swamp as well. The swamp mainly for Cabal Therapy. You're not really going to be casting Cavern Harpy unless you're comboing out. I guess Pernicious Deed as well. Actually, Pernicious Deed is a good answer to the artifacts too. I did mention the Otabi Orangutan, but yes, Pernicious Deed would also work, and right now would actually be a great answer to getting rid of Sylvan Library and the Sphere. And I think that's probably what he's going to do. It does cost 4, but assuming he has a land, he can cast it and then activate it immediately. Of course, he can also just hold it up to potentially deal with... Yep, okay, he's just going to do it now. Not letting Alec interact with it. Which, there's not really a good way to interact with it because the sacrifice is part of the casting cost. This isn't Chaos Orb. Alright, there's another library. And is Alec going to swing in with some factories? He can get 4 damage across here if he so chooses. Looks like he's just going to deal 2. Yeah, should be at 18. And also just going to port a swamp, it looks like. There's a Birds of Paradise for Marshall. I don't think he has a Aluren in hand. Or if he does, he doesn't have the combo pieces for it yet. Does look, though, like he has a Living Wish. So Living Wish is a sorcery that lets you grab any creature or land card from your sideboard. Notably, Marshall does not have... Actually, sorry, he does have 1 land in his sideboard, but it's one of those Dracula alt arts from the latest Innistrad sets. It actually might have been a secret there, but it's Phyrexian Tower, aka Dracula's Tomb. He does have a old border Phyrexian Tower in deck, but in the side is the crazy looking alt art. I do think that was a secret lair, yeah. Anyways, he's got all the mana in the world, but I don't think he has anything to do with it right now. Asking how many cards are in hand. Are we going to see a Living Wish here? It looks like it. Alright, what are we wishing for? Could wish for an Academy Rector. Or it looks like a Raven Familiar. Raven Familiar being a 1/2 bird. When it comes into play, look at the top 3 cards of your library. 1 in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your deck. He does have to reveal what he searches for. No, it looks like we are going to get the Academy Rector. Okay. Academy Rector finds Aluren, and that also leads me to believe that he's got at least 1, if not 2, of the combo pieces in hand. I think I saw the corner of a Wirewood Savage at the very bottom, but I think he is a little mana flooded. I think he does have at least 2, if not 3 lands in hand. Actually, maybe just 2, because I think one of those other cards is a Birds. Okay, and now Alec gets a library trigger. At this point, it might be obvious that he's against a combo deck. I'm not sure if he knows exactly what he's playing against. Sometimes players don't have time to scope out the room, or in most cases, unless you're Alec, play different decks every month. He's definitely been grinding this deck for a while. And it looks like, yes, he's going to take the full 8, draw all 3 cards. Either seeing something he liked or wanting to just dig deeper. Now again, Oh, gonna wasteland the mine. But again, the main interaction he has with Marshall's deck is swords. Oh, asking for, yeah. Okay, wastelanding the coast. Plays out the Terravor. Terravor is now a 4/4? Yes, okay. You've got a 4/4. Ooh, and Marshall actually has another Pernicious Deed in hand. Land for turn, playing out a Treetop Village. Say go, and port your swamp, probably. Makes sense. Okay. Oh, there's a Raven Familiar. That's not nothing. Let's see if you can find a combo piece, because I'm assuming that Academy Rector is blocking next turn, which will find him Aluren. So he either needs to find, yeah, Wirewood Savage. He might, I think that's another Raven Familiar, but the ideal would be a Wirewood Savage or a Cavern Harpy. Cavern Harpy bounces itself, makes it super easy to combo out through that draw engine. And Intuition would also be pretty great here. I think just being able to find one of the two pieces, guaranteed. The deck doesn't really have recursion so much. I mean, it has one Gaia's Blessing, but I think that's really for when you're in trouble or potentially even losing the game. I mean, you can't really cycle just one of them, so he can deck himself potentially. Okay. Found something he liked. Looks like it was the Raven Familiar, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, plays out of birds. And yeah, I think there was another Raven Familiar, so being able to dig a little bit deeper. Getting aggressive here? No, yeah, I don't think you want to. You have all the time in the world. He does have a Pernicious Deed, so he can next turn potentially Academy Rector that. Or trigger the Academy Rector, I guess, by playing it and sacking it. If Alec lets him with that Rashawn Port on the field, always tapping down that black source. But I think, yeah, he should just pass here. And that is what he does. Alright, Alec looking at a few more cards. That Sphere is pretty huge. I mean, we know Marshall has the answer for it, but if I was Alec, that's what I would put on top for sure. And maybe just debating how much damage he takes here. Now that his opponent actually has creatures on the board, granted they're small creatures, it's just going to take 4. Okay, drops to 8. Alright, there's a Mox. Pigeon Forest. Tap in 3 for another Terravor? Are we going all out? No, for a Winter's Grasp. Probably blowing up the swamp. No, hitting a forest. That is relevant. Aluren does cost 2 green. Tapping 2 more. And now is the sphere coming down? It is. Okay. Yeah, that sphere plus... Oh, no swing in. Okay. Yes, the Raven's Familiar does have an echo. Are we paying the echo? Why would we pay the echo? Alright, and then tap down your main land. That is an interesting call. I don't know why you'd want to necessarily pay the echo. I mean, granted, you can bounce the Raven Familiar with a Cavern Harpy, but you don't have access to a black source right now. There's a Llanowar Waste, so he can put that out. Really, though, he needs to play it out so he can Pernicious Deed in 2 turns. Okay, getting in for 1. Your opponent is at 7. Yeah, that land destruction and sphere coming at the right time for Alec. Really putting the squeeze on Marshall, keeping him from same turn, Pernicious Deed, play and execute. Now, Alec does have, I believe, another Terravor in hand, so it's not the worst thing if his gets blown up, but Marshall is, I would say, dangerously close to comboing out, especially if he gets the free Aluren cast for his other Raven's Familiar in hand. Alright, that Terravor is getting bigger. Yep, should be a 6. 6, I believe. Oh no, it's up to 7 now. Okay. I must have missed a land at one point. And I'm actually blanking on how big Academy Rector is. I thought it was just a 1/1. Might be a bit more than that. Tough to tell. I don't want to do a Scryfall search mid-game right now. I've definitely received feedback that me not knowing all the cards is a little... what's the word? Not disconcerting, just disappointing, I guess. And to that I say there are 5,000 cards in Premodern. I can tell you what most cards do, but I am horrible with names, and the fact that I get like 70% of them right is pretty good for me. Doing my best. Alright, so the 4 is getting ported here in the upkeep. Also gonna draw for turn. Alec decided to wait until he has just lethal on board, which is pretty smart. Okay, there's a Living Wish. Yeah, your Academy Rector doesn't do anything when you just die from all the damage coming in. Granted, Marshall is getting close to snapping off that Pernicious Deed, I feel like. You can play it this turn. Activate it next turn. He is at a pretty healthy life total. Even if Alec swings in retaliation, he still gets the Aluren. Is he not playing it out? No, he is playing out... Oh no, he's got an Aluren already. Okay, he just has the Aluren. That works. Yeah, the 2 green takes a point. Forgetting about the sphere here, actually, notably. He only paid 4. Not that it matters. He just has a blue open. That blue's not going to get used. Because now all his creatures are free. So Raven Familiar, diggin'. But did he just hit lands? No, he hit 2 lands and something else. What did he hit?
I do have an echo trigger of one of the birds. So I would put this in hand, and I played my one of land that I could.
Did he hit a Factor Fiction? I think he might have hit Factor Fiction. Yep, so just gonna pass. Put a little reminder on there for the echo for the other Raven Familiar.
So you tap the birds.
Now I think Marshall needs to start swinging in. Who cares if... Or sorry, Alec needs to start swinging in. Who cares if Marshall gets another Aluren? He doesn't really have a good way to deal with 1. So dealing with 2 is not an issue. Yeah, okay, Alec correctly pointing out that he did... Well, he should have paid 1 more blue. I'm not sure what the discussion is here, but yeah, in theory, Marshall's lands should all be tapped. The 1 more tax for Sphere.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. It's my job as well. And you get a Sylvan Library.
Alright, looks like we're all good. Resolving library.
It's okay, yeah.
I will remind our viewers as well. This is round 7. Players have been playing for at least 7 hours at this point. And most of them have been drinking. So the Magic gameplay will not be exactly perfect, but they did catch it at least.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
And Alec just looking at how many cards he wants to take here.
I hope that one isn't going to be the difference. Because 6, 7. Because if you take 4 damage, I can just kill you with flying. Yeah.
Now the Raven Familiars
Sure.
can get in for 2 next turn if Marshall pays for the echo cost. I think Alec is just trying to do some math to see how much damage he can push through. I think you have to get aggressive. I think you have to animate your treetop, your factories, your terravores, and just start swinging and hoping they hit.
Yeah, so I'm going to take 4.
I don't think you care about... Actually, if you take the wasteland... Oh no, he's going to take 4. Okay.
Waste your land.
Did he do the math here?
1, 2,
I don't know if that's lethal.
so that adds 2 to this. I'm going to kill.
Oh, okay. There's a Thermokarst. Yeah.
That adds 1 to this. They're both 10s.
So both terravores are 10/10s. So they have to be blocked.
Activate
Animate the factories.
10 10s and 2
Swing in.
Sorry, 1 second. So 1, 2, activate 2, 3, and then this.
So
Activate these 4 to cast the spell. Okay.
you block the 2 Mishra's factories, right? Actually, I think you might just be dead. You can block 4 damage here. So you take 16. And the Academy Rector.
Damage.
How big is the Academy Rector's? Again, this is me just not knowing off the top of my head how big Academy Rector is. Alright, we're getting 1 more count.
I got 4. Yeah, they're 9s. Okay.
Oh, okay, so there was an overcount. These guys are only 9 9s. Is that still going to be enough, though?
Because if you can suck up 6 damage from this, and it's 18, 19, 22, 122.
Yeah, unless that Academy Rector is a 1-2 or a 2-2 or whatever, you're better off blocking one of the factories. little bit of math happening here. Everyone just double checking their numbers. I believe those Terragoyfs are 9/9s.
9 is 8.
So that's still,
6 is 12
if they're all blocking,
plus 4. 16.
the birds are 4. Let's say the Academy Rector's a 1/1.
Yeah.
Are we going to 1? We're going to 1. Okay. No big deal. Academy Rector trigger. Go find an enchantment. He can find Pernicious Deed here and just wipe the board. It's probably not the worst option. Yep, looks like that's what we're going to do. The only other enchantment is Aluren, which doesn't help when you already have one out. I wonder, is there an enchantment that's like in Snaring Bridge? I mean, he's got enough cards in hand where it's not going to matter. Those factories can get in next turn no matter what.
Can't really see a way out of this. You got man lands regardless.
But he can at least take care of the Terravores. It really just comes down to what he draws. He needs a Factor Fiction and Alec to not understand the Aluren combo. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't know if there's a single draw. Maybe a Stroke of Genius where he draws into it.
Good top deck.
Okay, there's a Forest. Oh, he does have a Factor Fiction. You just try it. He's got a Living Wish too.
Blow everything up.
Doesn't have enough mana to do both.
Go.
And no is just passing. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. You can activate the Pernicious Deed at instant speed, which is what Alec is checking. So basically buying himself another turn here.
Yeah, so the library is so good.
That's another factory, another Thermal Karst, and a Swords. Maybe take the Swords and gain some life to keep yourself out of combat range. Not that Marshall has anything that can swing in for 2, but he can flash stuff in at instant speed. That is an option. Now, I don't think he actually has anything he can flash in, but Alec doesn't know that. And he does have to play around any sort of trickery end of turn. Also notable, Aluren is a 4-drop, and you can Pernicious Deed for 3 and take care of everything else. So,
Okay, you're still resolving something.
does Marshall actually have an out here? I don't think he's got the power in hand to do so. If he could, if he has like a Raven's Familiar to go find a Raven's Familiar, maybe. But yeah, I think Swords is the right play. I believe that's what Alec grabbed. Okay, go to combat, swing in, force. Oh, blocking just for show, I guess, but forcing the Pernicious Deed activation. All 3 drops and less artifacts, creatures, and enchantments are destroyed.
Post combat. Sylvan.
Alright,
Really good card.
there's the Sylvan Library. Marshall does not have anything he can flash in.
Past your
He's got a Living Wish and a Factor Fiction. Alec gonna Rashad Port the swamp? Doesn't look like it. Okay. I think he just tapped the mana. Oh, I see. Okay, Marshall's deciding if he wants to use that mana for a Fact or Fiction.
Let me check my
I think at this point,
black response.
you might have to. Yeah, I think you have to. The other option, I guess, is, of course, you draw one of your 2 combo pieces and then you Living Wish for the other one. It's really, what do you think is going to be more beneficial? And we are going to Fact or Fiction here. All right. Everyone loves a good FOF pile.
In response,
Let's see what we're going to be working with. An Aluren, Cabal Therapy, Veteran Explorer, another Cabal Therapy, and a Phyrexian Tower. That is not good. Granted, Marshall can take the one with the Veteran Explorer. And assuming both Cabal Therapies aren't in that same pile, he can sack it to go get lands, then go Living Wish. He could Living Wish for the Uktabi Orangutan, but it's still not enough because Alec can just animate both factories and the treetop village. Ooh, and yeah, Alec's smartly taking the Veteran Explorers and Cabal Therapies in the same pile. Marshall gonna take that one, draw for turn. All because that tapping of the swamp happened on his upkeep. Now, I don't think he's got a Cabal Therapy in hand. Or, sorry, in the graveyard. So, he has to be able to play it. But he's at 1 life, so he can't play the Cabal Therapy. He can play the Veteran Explorer. And just gonna pass. Alright, I think we know how this is gonna go, everyone. But we might as well see it play out. If Alec just animates everything and swings, he will win. Takedown game number 1. It was a pretty intense first game. Life totals 2-1. Alright, that village is good. That factory is good. That other factory is good. Swing for everything. And that is going to be game number 1. Alec taking it down. Let's go to game number 2. Wow, that was a nail biter of a game 1. Actually a little surprised that Marshall wasn't able to combo off there. Maybe just a couple of bad draws, but Alec also just doing a very good job of keeping the pressure on with those spheres and forcing Alec to deal with them. Or forcing Marshall to deal with them, sorry. But yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that was a very close game. Obviously, winning on 2 life is a little a little close. Okay, Marshall will be on the play here. He does have a Sylvan Library that he has pulled to the front. Maybe just deciding if he wants to keep this hand.
I'll give it a try.
Looks like he will just lead off with a swamp and pass. Ooh, and is that... Does Alec have a turn 1 sphere? This could be a potential problem. Yes, it looks like he does. He's gonna play the Mox, pitch a forest, tap both, sphere you. And all Marshall can do is thumbs up. And play a land and pass. Alright, animating that factory. Let's get in for 2. Out a treetop and say go. Alright, there's a Factor Fiction. Oh no, and Marshall missing his land drop. Really counting on being able to play out that Sylvan Library on turn 2. Oh, and actually dropping it for a second there on the table. Windswept Heath coming down. Gonna crack it. Probably getting a forest here, I'd imagine. Green being an important resource here for the Terra Oath deck. A lot of spells with double green. Oh no, it's actually grabbing a Plains. Alright, what are we gonna see? There's a Terravor. Just a 2-2 right now. Three mana coming down, and we are going to see the Sylvan Library hit. Turn later than, actually 2 turns later than Marshall would have hoped, but is what it is. Oh, little snafu with the sleeves. Okay. Is that the 3rd swords for Alec? I think it is. Okay, we're going to fetch here. Make that Terravor a little bigger. Little 3-3. Now grabbing a forest, yeah. Makes sense. And I believe we're just going to be animating everything and swinging in. Taking a solid 8 damage here. Yep, that looks like to be the plan. Taking 8. Dropping down to 9. And Marshall needing something very good off the top. He has functionally 2 turns left. If Alex sees another Mischievous Factory, it's actually just game over. Or as another way to put a land into the bin, which his deck is designed to do. 8 land destruction spells. Granted, that does prevent him from animating the factories, but a fetch land would just be enough at this point, unfortunately. So fetch land or a Mischievous Factory, and Marshall's hopes and dreams are dashed for this final. Okay, looks like he's just taking 1 card. Smart, makes sense. And it's got to be a land, it looks like, yeah. Tapping 4. There's a Pernicious Deed. Can he hang on for 1 more turn? I think that was a fetch. No, Brushland, okay. So, not quite dead yet. Just swinging for 8. He can crack it for 0. Take out the 2. Okay, that's what he's gonna do. And yeah, the Terravor will grow. He will still take 5. And needs a way to deal with that Terravor. Main deck, the only real answer is a Mana War, which he can't cast right now because he doesn't have blue sources. He also has an Intuition in hand that he's looking at that he can't cast because, again, he doesn't have blue sources. Looking like he might have Living Wish mana. Living Wish would find him nothing of consequence, I don't think. He doesn't have a way to deal with creatures, as far as I can tell, in his creature targets there. It's mostly combo pieces and win cons. So I think it really is Mana War or bust. Yeah, this is a tough spot. Alright, picking something. Land for turn. Does get the blue source. We'll have to pay a life to play it though.
I almost just lost for not maintaining game state, but it wound up not mattering.
Yeah, because even a Pernicious Deed here is not enough. Okay, that's a Raven Familiar.
He cast 2 spells when he was only able to cast 1 because of my own sphere.
And Alec just reminding him, everything does cost 1 more. Yeah, I'm not sure what he can find. I think this game is in the bag. A Raven's Familiar will cost 4, leaving him with 1 mana left. We'll have to take a point damage to do it, taking him to 3. That's lethal. He's got 2 Raven Smellers. Oh no. All right, 4. Taking a point. Playing out the Raven Familiar. Let's look at the top 3. I believe he played a land already for turn. I don't think it's going to matter. I'm just going to pass. And there's another Mishra's Factory. And, yep, Alec just going to swing in for the win. Take 3.
That's still lethal, yeah?
He could else, yeah, he could actually swords. That is going to be game, and Alec takes down a clean 2-0. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Good games to both players. Alec just being a little too quick on those spheres for Marshall to really do anything to combo out, which is unfortunate. It is a super sweet deck, though. Very cool to see it make it this far in the tournament. Tons of fun to play against as well. Really hard to interact lines sometimes, I'll tell you what. Anyways, if you want to support the channel, comment down below what your favorite red card is. Helps the YouTube algorithm know that you're a real person watching this and you actually made it to the end of the video, which is also huge, and I really do thank you. If you want to support the channel in a financial way, there is a Patreon link in the description below. That money goes towards making more videos and, of course, gear upgrades. We're always trying to improve the channel and the video quality. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.